Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world called Jesus Christ. This is Azariah for Ministers of Faith, coming at you with another lesson. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. All right. Today's lesson is going to be talking about the destruction of the wicked, the fall of the Idumean Empire, the destruction of the wicked, the fall of the Idumean Empire. All right. So we're going to be talking about this race of people that's ruling the world, this wicked race of people that's ruling this world, man, called the Idumean Empire. All right. So let's jump right into it. Let's go to the definition of the word Idumean for the people that might not know. Let's share the screen real quick. This is the definition of the word Idumean. It says refer to the Greek and Roman name of the end of an Edomite, an ancient Semitic people indigenous of the region of Edom, located south of the Dead Sea in Judea. Right. So the word Idumean is a Semitic people that refers to the Edomites or Edom. So we're going to jump into the book of Genesis to dive deep into who is Edom is, right? Who's Edom is, right? So let's go to the book. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse 21, and let's get the birth of Esau. Esau is the forefather of the Edomites, right? Esau is the forefather of the Edomites. Let's prove that. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse 21. It's like it. I'm sure. It said, and Isaac entreated of the Lord for his wife, and she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, right? So she went to inquire of the Lord and asked, why is my children and struggling and fighting in my womb if this is supposed to be a blessing? And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the Lord is telling Rebekah that the reason why the children are struggling together within her womb is because these are two different nations, two different manner of people. They are going to have two different characteristics, and they shall be separated because they not going to like each other. They're not going to like each other. Going to be some type of hatred, division, fighting, and wars going all that's going to be taking place. It's already taking place within her stomach before the baby was even born. Verse 24, it says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there was twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So the first one came out was red all over like a hairy and like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Esau means hairy, right? And he came out red all over because he didn't have no pigmentation. He didn't have no pigmentation, no melanin in his flesh, right? He was a red baby. It says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau hill, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 70 years old when she bare them. So let's keep reading on. It says, so they didn't describe Jacob. Jacob looked like the rest of them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. It said, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of the venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob, right? Because she knew the blessing. It says, and Jacob saw pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So Edom and Esau are the same people. So when you look into this Bible, when you start reading, you'll see that Esau and Edom are the same people, right? Esau and Edom are the same people. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 36, and verse 1. It says, now these are the generation of Esau, who is what? Edom. And let's see where they dwell at. Verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. So Esau was dwelling in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Esau is Edom, and they was dwelling in Mount Seir. Edom is going to go to the generation of Esau, his children. Right? Let's go further explain that. Now let's see who Esau is today. Let's see who Esau is today. Let's go to this book called Classic Biblical Baby Names. Classic Biblical Baby Names, and we're going to look up the name Esau right here. Esau means hairy, and let's jump down to the bottom. It said, of interest, according to the commentaries on Hebrew scripture, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire. So Esau is the forefather of the Roman Empire. So now you have to ask yourself, what race of people was the forefather of the Roman Empire? What race of people conquered Rome and established the Roman Empire? Was they Chinese people? Was they black people? Were they white people? Were they East Indian people? Were they Ishmaelites? Right? The Arabs? What race? That's right. You had it right. You had it right. They were what? The Caucasian people, the so-called white man. They was the forefather of the Roman Empire, especially during the time of Christ. Under what? Caesar Augustus, right? These were the people that was ruling Rome. Under Julius Caesar, he established the Roman Empire, and I believe Caesar Augustus was the first emperor of the Roman Empire. All right, now let's go to another book called The Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomites by William Beston, right? So we just got two proof sources that Esau was the forefather of the Roman Empire. Now there's another book said the Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomites, further saying that Esau was the forefather of the Roman Empire. Let's look into this page right here. It says, the descendant of Esau, say the Jewish rabbin. So this is a Jewish man said this. The sworn enemies of the descendant of Jacob, even to the end of the world, were at first a small nation inhabiting Mount Seir, and the adjacent country contagious to the land of Canaan. They were easily confined within their own limits, so long as the Israelites enjoyed a great and formidable empire in Canaan. But after that, the powerful republic of the 12 tribes have been destroyed by the Assyrians and Babylonians. They wonderfully increased in numbers and in strength, extended their dominion to the west, subjugated Italy, and found Rome. So after the Israelites got destroyed and got into captivity, that's when the Edomites they went where they subjugated Italy. I mean, they went further north to Europe. First, they took over Greece under Alexander the Great. Remember that, right? And after that, they established Rome. They subjugated Italy and founded Rome and the Roman Empire. Right? Let's read on. It says, at the length entirely overturned the Jewish state, the second temple being destroyed by Titus. Let's go to the next page. Vespasian and professing the religion of Jesus Christ. It's talking about the Catholic Church, right? It says, actually going way back, it's not talking about, because the first Catholic Church, where the first Christians were Israelites under Rome. During the Dark Ages, during the Renaissance, the white people came and established that throne under the Roman Empire and the Catholic Church. It says, now read on. It says, which they were the first of all nations to embrace. Yeah, right. They hold Jacob in captivity. You know, this is the problem. This is the point right here that you can now see what race of people are who. It said they hold Jacob in captivity till Messiah ben David shall appear. So the Edomites, Romans, they're going to be still holding Jacob in captivity till Christ's return. So what race of people are in captivity? And you can't say the Jewish people right now because they're not in captivity. They got their own land, their own military. They bombing the hell out of Iran. They're teaming up with America. They got nuclear bombs. They got their own government and president system, whatever. So these people are not in captivity. What race of people is still in captivity? They still got to pay taxes, still got to follow other nation laws. They got no military. Their land was taken from them. The so-called Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans is still in captivity to the Europeans, to the Roman Empire, to the Idumeans, the Edomites, Esau. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. Chapter 2, verse 7. It says, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughters of Babylon. So what race of people are dwelling with the daughters of Babylon? The so-called, it says Zion, which is what? The Israelites. Let's see who the daughters of Babylon is. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of who? Edom. Children of Edom. It says, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, means destroy it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughters of Babylon. So Esau, or Edom, is the daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. So the Most High is telling us that these race of people, they ought to be destroyed. Means what? Their whole future is going to be destroyed. Their race is going to be destroyed. It says, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So the daughters of Babylon is Edom. Who is Edom? Esau. Who is Esau? The Roman Empire, the Idumeans. All right. These are the people that the Most High hates. These are the people that the Most High cannot stand. Let's go to the book of Malachi real quick. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2. This is the book of Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, I love you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob and hated Esau. So the Most High said that he hated Esau, but what? He loved Jacob, which is who? The 12 tribes, the children that's still in captivity, right? Under the Roman Empire, who are who? Esau. So the Most High said he hated Esau and laid his foundation and his heritage waste for the dragon of the wilderness. Hold on quick. Right? Wherein Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Just said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord hath in the nation forever. Right? These are the people which the Most High will have in the nation forever, meaning a strong hatred, a perpetual hatred, forever hatred. These people will not get the kingdom of heaven. Most High said he had a indignation with these people forever. The Most High hates Esau. The world may told us that the Most High love everybody. If the Most High love everybody, why did the Most High destroy the Egyptians for Israel? Why did he made us cross the river Jordan? And then he did what? He destroyed all the Egyptians that follow after us. Why did he kill all the firstborn of the Egyptians? He did it for us, the Israelites, the 12 tribes, the so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. So this whole little saying that the Most High love everybody, no, he does not. He hate Esau. These are the what? The Europeans, the Roman Empire, the Caucasians, the so-called white man, white woman, boy and girl, baby, infant. He hates all of them. He said he had a strong indignation. Let's go to this next book. This is a book called Who is Esau Edom? All right, who is Esau Edom? And let's go to this page right here. It says, it's highlighted section. It said, God hatred of Edom is not a temporary thing, but it's perpetual. So it's not a temporal thing. It's not going to be for a short period of time. No, it's for perpetual, mean everlasting. It said the doctrine that God loves everyone does not stand up in light of what the Bible has to say regarding God's merciless position towards the race of the people, called Edom. Although the churches have tried to alter God's true nature, we find that throughout the Bible, God's position towards Esau, Edom, does not change. So the Most High does not change. We know this. The Most High doesn't change. Malachi 3:6. So he says that he had what? A perpetual hatred to this race of people, which call themselves Edom or Edomites, which is who today? The so-called Roman Empire. What race of people that was ruling Rome? The so-called Caucasians, right? And this is why the Most High hates these people. Hold on. Now let's go to the book of Romans. Let's see this is this carry out. Let's see this carry out in the New Testament. This is the book of Romans. Let's start up real quick. Chapter 9 and verse 10, right? It says, not only this, but when Rebekah also had received by one, even by our fathers Isaac, right? We just read this in the book of Genesis. It says, for the children being not yet born, neither done any good or evil. It's like, yeah, so let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. It says that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So it says the children did not good or evil because his children was what? Not yet born. It says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So Paul is quoting Genesis and he quoting Malachi right here. Right? It says, what shall I say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. So the Most High is telling us that he hated Esau. Before Esau was even born, the Most High hated because he know what type of person Esau will become. He know this man will be what? Will be wicked. Esau was wicked from the beginning. He was wicked when he was Cain. If you don't know about that, Cain is Esau regenerated. So the Most High hated this race of people before they was born. Let's see why. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Matter of fact, let's go to Job. Job chapter 20 and verse 11. This is the book of Job chapter 20 verse 11. It says his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. So Esau, when he was born, he was already born in wickedness. He was already created to be wicked. He said his bones are full of the sins of his youth, meaning that when he came out, he was wicked doing wickedness. It says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Esau was going to be forever wicked with his lies, his deceitfulness, his wicked crafting, counsel and craftiness. Esau was ever going to be wicked with his laws, how he conquered lands. Right? When you look at Esau dominion on how they conquered lands, they spread diseases, they genocide races of people, right? They rape, enslave people, kill a lot of people. How do you think Esau got America? How do you think he got where he living at now in Europe? You think that he founded Rome by himself? It was nobody living in Rome. No, you had the sons of Japhet living there. The Etruscans. It's lucky if I pronounced that name wrong. The Etruscans. They was living there first. Until who came? The so-called white man came and conquered them under Caesar, Julius Caesar, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms now, chapter 58 and verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So when Esau was born, he was already speaking lies, already wicked. These people have no righteousness in him. Just look at their history of the so-called white race, and you see why the Most High hates them. They have no good. They pretend to be people they're not. They kill, genocide, land mass, and they have no care in the world. Look what they're doing to Iran. Look all the wickedness that they're doing to these people in this world, right? Let's go to the book of Job and chapter 24 and verse 13. It says, this is Job chapter 24, Job chapter 24 and verse 13. They are of those that rebel against the light. They have no understanding. They have no understanding of this word. They change the truth into a lie. It says they know not the way thereof, nor abide in the path thereof. They don't know the true understanding. They don't know how to be righteous if they try. They don't know how to worship the Most High if they tried their best. They can't do it. It's not within them to do it. Let's jump down to verse 17. Let's read down. We could jump down to 17 for like a time. It says, for the morning is to them even as a shadow of death. If one of them, if one of them, they are in the terror of the shadow of death. Oh, I didn't want to read that. Don't worry, right? But these people, they have no understanding. They have no light in them. They will never understand. Matter of fact, let's read down. I'm sorry. Let's go to 14. It said, the murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, and the night is as a thief. So the murderer is who? Esau, the wicked race, Idumean, Roman Empire. They murder because they murder everybody they come into. They take over lands and genocide races of people, nations, a bunch of indigenous people. It says the eye also of the adulterer waited for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguises his face. Who does that? Esau. He's the adulterer. He's the murderer. He's the hypocrite. He's the adulterer. He rape and rob people. You take your wife and rape her right in front of your face. It says, in the dark, they do houses which they have marked for themselves. In the daytime, they know not the light. Meaning what? They set plans to conquer lands. They take your houses, your heritage, your landmarks, and they claim it for themselves. It says, for the morning is to them even as a shadow of death. And none of them, it says, if one know them, They are in the terrors of the shadow of death, meaning what? They are in dark places. Places, the shadow of death is a place that have no light. A place that just full of wickedness, no understanding, no way of righteousness. These people runs the world. What race of people runs the world right there, right now? They have a whole thing that called what? The European community. The 10 common nations. I believe I'm saying that right. Right? The European community confounded with just East Edomites. Right? They established laws. They pick and choose what race of people that can have nuclear war or weapons, warfare. You know, these people runs the UN, the United Nations, right? These people come together and they runs the world. They scattered abroad. You got those in Greece, Spain, Europe, Russia, Britain, over here in America, the South America now, the North America, Canada. They go over in Australia. They're conquering Africa, South Africa. How do you think they're spreading their dominion everywhere? By conquering different landmass, taking over nations, spreading their agenda. These people want it all. And this is why the Most High has a strong indignation on them. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. It said, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Now, we just read in the book of Malachi that Esau is the border of the wicked, meaning that they are the wicked people. They are the soul, they are the foundation of wickedness on earth. So it said, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? We're not going to get to that second part yet. Not yet. But we're going to jump into this first part. It said the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Like I said, who runs the world? Let's go to this real quick. Let's figure out who runs the world. Who ruled the world? Who runs the world, rules the world. All the land conquered by Europeans. You see this? It's over 80% of the world land was under European control. The Europeans, the so-called white race, own over 80% of the world population, the world landmass. The British Empire alone cover about 25% of Earth lands. So it says the British Empire alone covered what? 25%. They what? Conquered. Let's zoom in real quick. Canada is run by the British. United States, they got their own independence. Independence. But at first, they was conquered by what? The 13 colonies, right? Spain, Britain, and France. Mexico is run by Spain. Peru, Spain. Brazil, Portugal. You got Russia over here. The India is run by the British. Australia, the British took over the Australian. Look at Africa. Africa is just controlled by all Europeans. It says most of Africa was divided and controlled by Europeans. It's crazy. We're going to go into that some more, right? These people runs basically the whole world. You got a little country like what? Japan, China, the Persians, Iran. You know, they got their own land mass and you know, they run their own thing. You know, some parts of Africa like Nigeria, but a lot of them is conquered by the Europeans as well. Trust and believe. But Esau, they said they've run over 80% of the world land. These people rule the world. Ever since you're during the time of let's go back real quick. Ever since during the time of Alexander the Great, Esau, when Esau started to conquer, nothing but wickedness increased. Let's go to the book of Maccabees, right? Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, and start at verse 1. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. It said, and it happened after that, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So this is Alexander, right? Who the world know as Alexander the Great. And we all know what race of people he was. He was the Edomites, right? It said, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew kings of the earth. And do it said, and went through all the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted with his heart, exalted in his heart was lifted up. So Esau, when he started conquering and taking over these lands, they took over many lands. He said the earth was quiet, meaning what? He had everybody in subjection. Subjection. Everybody was under him, right? It says, verse 4, it says, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. So Alexandria under the Greeks, they conquered many lands and had everybody under them. Everybody was subjected under the Greece, under Alexandria. I mean, out of Alexandria the Great. It says, and after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die because he was wicked and he was raping little boys and he fell sick to disease. Wherefore he called his servant, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servant bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth. So when Alexandria died, when he was conquering and putting his wicked root in government and conquering lands, after he died, his kingdom got divided into four. And after that, a lot more wickedness start to happen. A lot more. It says, and evil were multiplied on the earth. So when white people started to rule, evil was multiplied on earth. It started getting a lot worse. More wicked as hell out here, man. Let's go to the book of Psalm chapter 12 and verse 8. Watch this. Psalms chapter 12, verse 8. It's like, yeah. It says, the wicked walk on every side, and when the vilest men are exalted. So wicked will increase when the vilest man, mean evil men, are exalted. So when Esau came into a power and established his dominion, wickedness increased. They put up all these wicked laws. They conquered lands. They kill, rape, genocide nations of people, indigenous people. They took their identity. Everything you could think of about anything that is wicked, Esau done did it. He will slaughter you right in front of his children, and his children will be happy to see you die. It happens many a time when we got hanged on crosses, on trees, and burnt alive. Who was standing in front of them? Their children, smiling, happy. These are how you know that these are the wicked of the earth. The borderline wicked of the earth. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 27. That's what I wanted. Hold on. All right, here you go. Verse 2, Slakia. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Now just look out in the word today. Is it righteous? Is there people rejoicing right now? Is people rejoicing in Iran? Is people rejoicing in Gaza? Is people rejoicing here in America? Where is people rejoicing at right now? Nowhere. Why? Because the wicked bear ruleth. And people are mourning. They mourn in the death of their family, of wars, chaos, famine, destruction that Esau is putting on earth. Esau is the cause of all wickedness and wars. They oppress people. They take over lands. Name something that the so-called white man have not did that was not wicked. He did everything under the book. Anything that you can name that is wicked and vile, the so-called white man done did it. And he did it more than once. And he loved it. That's why the people out here is mourning. Nobody's rejoicing. Nobody's happy. No one is living in peace. Because the wicked still bear rules. And this is how you know the so-called white man is the wicked man of the world, man. The wicked man of the earth. The men, women, and children, the so-called white man are the wicked, the white race. Right? Let's go to the book. Now let's go to the blessing of the white man. And see why he is the wicked. And see why he's doing what he's doing. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse 38. All right, so this is the blessing of Esau. I thought at verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine, and I sustain him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? Right? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Man started to cry. He lifted up his voice and wept. And and Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, that dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So Isaac told Esau that your dwelling is going to be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. That means what? They're going to have the good parts of the earth, the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven above. I mean, dew is not just in one area. When the dew rises up from the ground, it's not just in one area. So Esau is spread abroad. That's why Esau conquering many nations. They fugitives and vagabonds, meaning that they have no specific homeland no more. They fugitives because they still have been judged for all the wickedness that they're doing. It says, verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And this happened when we just read when when Israel went into captivity, Esau start to travel out west to establish their dominion in Greece, in Italy, in Rome. Right? This is when Esau they start to establish their dominion in the yokes was off that neck. But it says that they shall live by the sword, meaning what? They die by the sword and they live by the sword. What's the sword? The weapons. They are weapons. Esau will live by their weapons until the day that they die. Right? Let's go to this book right here called The Chosen People from the Carcasses. This is a book called The Chosen People from the Carcasses, Michael Bradley. And let's go to this page right here. It says, verse 2, page 232. It says, underlined sentence, the world is presently facing many crises, not just the Arab-Israeli one, right? So not just the Arab and Israeli war. The world is facing so many crises. It said, and if we look at these crises with total objectivity, we will see that all of them at base derived from Caucasoid behavior. Caucasoid means Caucasian. So all these chaos in the world is from Caucasian behavior, Caucasoid values, and Caucasoid philosophy, nuclear war, environmental pollution, resource wastage, all have reached a critical mass and have become threats to our survival because of Caucasoid evolution. So the white man, which they call the Caucasoid, they is the cause of nuclear war, pollution, environmental pollution, and waste. They are a threat to society and evolution. What you see today in this world and all the chaos in it is caused by the so-called white man. So when Esau said they was blessed with the sword, they was blessed with what? Nuclear war, nuclear weapons, their military, their guns, right? This is what Esau is blessed with, right? Let's go to Slacky. Let's go to Rebecca. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 6. All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 6. It says, for lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march, do, and breach of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. Right, this now, of course, is when you read the scriptures, it's always twofold with the scriptures. During this time, we're talking about the Babylonians, but prophecies is going to the Edomites. They are the children of Babylon, which is what? The Chaldeans, right? It said that they was going to march, do places and dwelling places and take over land that is not theirs. Who's doing that? The Edomites. How you think they got? How you think they got America? They took over places that was not theirs from the indigenous people, the natives. Right? They did that to the Canada, Australia. They taken over landmass that is not theirs. Said they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen are shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasted to eat. They shall come all to violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity of the sand. These meaning what? They shall take over lands, and they shall what? Take over the indigenous people and put them in captivity. It said they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be scorned unto them. They shall deride from strongholds, for they shall heap dust and take it. So these people is going to take everything, your gold, your money, your wealth, your houses, your clothes, your possession, your land, your animals. your herbs, vegetation. They're going to take everything and possess it like it's theirs. What race of people is doing that? Right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 15. It says, this is Job chapter 20, verse 15. He has swallowed down riches and shall vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly. So who has swallowed down riches? Who has stole a whole bunch of gold from Africa? Look what he's doing in Africa. How you think the European colonized and raped Africa? How you think they colonized and raped and genocide America? They stole our riches. They doing it over there in South America right now. They did that to Puerto Rico. That's why the land called Rich Port. Right? They did it to Venezuela. They're taking that oil right now. What do you think Trump did? Went down to Venezuela and took and enslaved, you might say, enslaved their president, took him and imprisoned him, and what? Took over his oil. The scripture said he shall swallow up, he shall swallow down riches. This man take over land and take your possessions like it was meant for him, like it was already his. Right? Let's jump down to verse 19. It said, because he had oppressed and had forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away the house which he builded not. Who took over houses that he did not build up? The so-called white race. Right? Let's go to the book of Micah. Chapter 2, verse 1. Right? This is a classic. We all know this one. It says, woe to them, that means destruction. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it's in their power of the hand. It's in the power of the hand. Meaning what? The earth is given to the hands of the wicked. So it is in their power to do wickedness. These are the seed of the devil. Satan dominions, his little children that's running around, that's not being judged for the sins that they're doing. They kill people. They drop bombs on a darn school to kill over 100 little girls over there in the Middle East. Who did that? The so-called white man. It said they cover fields and take them by violence, their houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. They will take your heritage away from you and claim it like it's theirs now. They take your land and say this land has always been ours. They'll take your laws, your culture, and say it's always been theirs. Who does this? The so-called white man. Let's go to Lamentation, chapter 5 and verse 1. I'm speeding up because of lack of time. It says, remember, O Lord, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Right? Who can say this now? Who can say our inheritance is turned to strangers? The indigenous people. The people that once ruled Rome and Greece. The indigenous people that once ruled America. Right? The Native Americans. Canada, South America, the Hispanics. Right? The land of Israel itself. The so-called Black Hispanic Americans, that was our land. Who living in our land right now? It's the fake Israelis that claim themselves to be Jewish. They claiming that that's their land. It says our inheritance is turned to strangers and our houses to aliens. So they don't are the real aliens. It says we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. They rape and rob us and kill our people. Turn our children into what? Orphans and fatherless. And turn our mothers into widows. It says we have drunken our water for money. Our own our own resources is now turned against us. It says our wood is sold unto us. Our own resources that we had established in our land, now we have to buy it. The Most High gave us free water. He gave us rivers. What did Esau do? They take it, they put it in pipes and store it on the water. I mean, under the concrete. And now they can easily shut off your water now. This is freely given from the Most High. The trees, nobody plant these trees. The Most High plant them. But what did Esau do? We got to buy our own wood. They took over our land. It says our nets are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. Now we labor and have no rest. Now we got to work for everything. We got to work for the land that was freely given to us. The land that was basically here in America that no one lived when the Northern Kingdom came. This land was not inhabited. Our people was over here first, and what happened? Christopher Columbus come over here and the conquistadors. They came over here and conquered our people, enslaved them, raped, robbed, and genocide a lot of our people, put them in little reservations and small camps, and they took the land from the native. This is how they conquered and destroyed lands, right? Let's bring this up real quick. Give me a second. Let me find it. This one right here. Check this out. It says how European invaded and colonized lands. Let's look into it, right? It says exploration and first contact. Starting in the late 1400s, nations like Spain and Portugal sent explorers across oceans. Explorers like Columbus and Vasco da Gama opened sea routes to the Americas, Africa, and Asia. At first, they came for trade, gold, spices, resources, not for conquest. Right? Yeah. At first, they did until they decided to be evil, decided to be themselves. Right? Look at this major exploration routes. Just look at this map and how they travel the landmass and conquer. Right? Number 2, it says military advantage. European had advantage weapons, guns, muskets, cannons, steel armor, and swords. So they came with that weapons. So why? Because they lived by the sword. It said indigenous people often, it said indigenous people often had weapons like bows, spears, or stone tools, right? These weapons could not stand against guns and cannons and steel armors. It says horses unknown in some region, like the Americans, gave Europeans mobility and stock advantage. I mean, they took our horses from us. Our weapons could not succeed their weapons because their weapons was made of metal and gunpowder. It says, number 3, diseases. One of the biggest factors. Europeans brought diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza, something like Slovakia. Indigenous populations had no immunity, causing massive death. So when they came here, they brought all these type of diseases with them, man. And they spreading diseases abroad our people. In some areas, up to 90% of the population died, weakening resistance before battle even started. Then they did this to this ain't this how they conquered how they just conquered Venezuela and took their oil. It said it was a swift takeover. Some said that these people came and they brought their disease and caused a lot of sickness to the military defense over there. killed a lot of their soldiers, and took over that oil and took their president. It said native population declined in area and in the Americas. So when they came with their diseases and smallpox, right? These are people that came with one thought, that was to conquer lands and take them over by any means necessary. Number 4, it says divide and conquer. Europeans didn't fight anyone at once. They made alliance with tribes, with rival tribes, used local conflicts use local conflicts to their advantage. Examples: Hermes Cortez allied with enemies of the Aztecs to defeat them. That means what? They are deceiving. They are deceitful and wicked. That crafty counsel is that they want people to fight against each other and they team up, and then they turn their backs on people. Number 5, colonization and control. After gaining control, Europeans built colonies and forts to take. It said took lands from farming sugar, cotton, tobacco, extraction resources, gold, silver, reinforced their rule, and exploit the land and people. They often forced labor, including enslaving Africans and indigenous people. Right? This is how they colonized and took control. They established their colonial fort, plantation, mining operations, and slave ships. Number 6, these are all facts on how Europeans took control of a landmass. So religion and justification. Many believed they were spreading Christianity. They used religion to justify conquest, claiming they were civilizing others. Missionaries built churches, missions, and schools to convert indigenous people. Right? And this is how Christianity was spread when Europeans came to America. They spread that darn religion, that white Christianity and white Jesus. Verse 7. It said the biggest picture, why it worked. European invasions succeed because of a combination, not just one thing, but what? Superior military technology, their weapons that it was blessed with, diseases, devastating diseases, strategic alliance, economic motivation, wealth and resources, and religion justification. So these factors together allowed Europeans to invade, conquer, and control vast lands across the world. This is how the Europeans took over the world today. It says by the 1700, Europeans' power had established colonies and influence on every continent, changing the course of history for millions of people. It said the Europeans established their colonies and influence on every continent. Spain, Portugal, British, French, Dutch. These people, they established their dominion and these strategies, the ways of colonize people. They colonized the landmass, the indigenous people, and took over their land by strategies, man. They smart. They are wicked smart. When you read in the book of Micah chapter 2 verse 1, it said that they covet fields, they plant it, and they take them in the morning. Right? Let's get this real quick. This is how they got over Africa, the scramble of Africa. All right, it said the scramble of Africa was a period about 1880s through 1914, when European countries rapidly took control of most of Africa. It was organized largely after the Berlin Conference, where European power set rules for claiming lands. without Africans involvement. So how you can claim a land without even talking to the indigenous people? So you just took over this land without even having any type of communication with the people that's already living in that land. That's wicked. Europeans use military power, advanced weapons, and divide and rule tactics to defeat or control African societies. The main goal was wealth and power, especially access to natural resources like gold, rubber, and minerals. By 1914, nearly all of Africa was colonized, except places like Ethiopia and Libya. It says, bottom line, it was a fast, aggressive takeover that reshaped Africa borders that left long-lasting effect still seen today. It said majority of all the line of Africa, besides Libya and Ethiopia, was conquered. Who's doing this? The so-called white man. When they set their dominion in this world, they ain't doing it in a friendly manner. They spreading their disease. They killing people. Making false treaties, rape, rob, and killing people, enslaving the indigenous people, taking their resources away from them, killing them. And you said, oh, these people are nice. These people have a chance to make it to the kingdom of heaven if they repent. This is why the Most High hates them. Right? Let's look at this real quick. Right? These are the landmass that Europe took over. Look at how they conquer Africa. You got mainly the West Africa is taken over by France, by the French Empire. Some of Nigeria is taken over by what? The British. A lot of it of the South America is taken over by the British. The Portuguese got these lands. Just take a look at this map right here, and you can see how the Europeans came together and conquered Africa. Africa. Right? This is where you see the scramble of Africa. When all these European nations came together and took over the land. Right? Without even considering the indigenous people. With no communication. Let's read this real quick. This is the scramble of Africa, 1880s to 1914. It says a period of intense European colonization and occupation. Read it again. A period of intense European colonization and occupation, of Africa, divided by the desire for resources, power, and prestige. Occupation. I just got that name messed up. Slovakia. Number one, motive: economic gain, resources, trade, political power, national pride, missionary zeal, civilizing mission. Two, Berlin Conference. European power met in Berlin and agreed on rules for claiming Africa. No Africans representative were invited. Number three, method: military conquest, superior weapons, divide and rule, tactic, alliance with local leaders, treaties under current sense. Number four, it says by 1914, nearly of all Africa was under European control. Only Ethiopia and Libya maintained independence. Independence. Sorry, I can't really see it. All right, death and suffering. Europeans killed millions of Africans due violence, forced labor, starvation, disease, and brutal oppression. Congo, Free State, 1885 through 1908, under King Leopold II of Belgium. Estimated 5 to 10 million Africans died. They killed under King Leopold, this wicked white man. He said under him were killed almost to, it was estimated 5 to 10 million Africans died. People were forced to collect rubbers. Violence, amputation, starvation, and disease were rampant. It says Heberoslovakia in Herero something, forgive me, and Nabaku genocide, 1904 to 1908. German forces killed about 65,000 Herero-Slovakia of 10,000 Naman in German Southwest Africa today. What says one of the first genocide of the 20th century. So these people killed about 65,000 Africans. It says other wars and repression. Hundreds of thousands died in wars and uprising across Africa, including Malja Rebellion, 1905 through 1907. Estimated about over 200,000 to 300,000 deaths. It says Anglo Zulu War, 1987. Malthus War in Sudan, 1881 to 1899, and many more. What took place? All right, we over here. What took what? Who took what? It says Britain. It took over Egypt, Sudan, Nigeria, Ghana, Gold Coast, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and more. French took over what? French West Africa, Mali, Senegal, not Niger, French Equator, something like that. Africa, Congo, Madagascar, Slovakia. Belgium took over what? Congo, Free State. Later, Belgium, Congo, personal colonies of King Leopold II. Germany took over German East Africa, Zambia, Tanzania, German Southwest Africa, Cameroon, Tonga, lost after World War II. Lucky for the mispronunciations. Portugal is Angola, Mozambique, Italy, Libya, Eritrea, Somalia, Spain, Spanish, Sahara, Ecuador, genuine smart area, Slovakia. So these are people. This is what they took, right? They conquered 80% of Africa. Well, yeah. Only independent state was Liberia and Ethiopia. Ethiopia was never colonized. Lasting impact, right? Africa, border. Slovakia. I got these things all messed up. It says the colonial border ignored ethnic culture in linguistic groups, cutting some in half and putting rivals together, causing conflict to this day. Artificial borders. It said language and culture. It says European language, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish were imposed and are still the official language in many African countries. Economic impact. Colonies were structured to extract resources, not to develop local economics. Many African countries remain dependent on raw material exports. So they don't want these people to establish their own economic resources. Political instability. All right, colonial rule destroyed traditional system and create weak government. After independence, many countries faced uh, corpse, civil wars, and corruption. Infrastructure designs and colonies, railways, roads, and ports were built to take resources from the interior to the coast, not to connect African people. So this stuff was not for the benefits of Africa, right? This was to take over Africa, destroy and colonize them, right? Push that government of white Jesus and continue to kill and rape and rob many of the indigenous people of Africa, right? And this is just basically Africa was the biggest state. Sorry, the biggest continent, Slovakia. As Africa was the biggest continent, and these people took over Africa without even having an African there to represent themselves. How can you take over a landmass that you don't even own without even talking and coming down, sitting with any of the indigenous people there? Who does this? The so-called white man. All right, let's go to the YouTube videos now. I got some videos I want y'all to look on how they took over Australia. All right, let's go to Slovakia. Let's bring up this first video right here.
Imagine living on your land for 60,000 years, and then one day strangers arrive and declare it belongs to them. That's what happened when Britain colonized Australia. In 1788, the British declared Australia terra nullius, nobody's land. But it wasn't empty. Indigenous Australians had lived there for millennia, with deep traditions and thriving cultures. The settlers brought guns, violence, and new diseases. Whole communities collapsed. Those who survived were pushed off their land, forced into missions, or trapped under harsh laws designed to erase their identity. The massacres were rarely written down, but they happened, and historians now call it a frontier war that lasted for over a century. So when we talk about the founding of Australia, we can't ignore the cost, the lives lost and cultures nearly erased. History isn't only about what was discovered, but also about what was destroyed.
So they took over Australia, spread their disease, spread their disease, enslave, kill a lot of the indigenous people. That's how you got so-called Europeans in Australia. Who was once in Australia? The indigenous people of Japheth. They pushed them people out, killed a lot of them. That's why you got a lot of them just traveling the seas and the islands of the world. Right? These people do not care. They have no care in the world about what they do. They only care about themselves. They don't care about you. They will kill you, take over your land, and claim everything to be theirs. Right? This is how they did Jamaica. How the British conquered Jamaica. Watch this.
Removing the British Queen as its head of state, how and why is Queen Elizabeth II still the ruling monarch of Jamaica? The original inhabitants of Jamaica were the Arawaks. They came from South America and cultivated the land on the island and fished from the sea. But all that changed in 1494 when Christopher Columbus docked in Jamaica, and in true colonial fashion, claimed the island for Spain. A few years later, on his second return to Jamaica, his crew suffered a shipwreck, and they spent a year on the island waiting to be rescued. By 1509, the Spanish built their first settlement there. They enslaved the indigenous population, and by the early 17th century, most of the Arawak people had died from the diseases that the Spanish had brought with them, and from being overworked amid poor slave conditions. A small number of African slaves were also brought to the island. In 1655, the English led a successful attack on the Spanish in Jamaica. The Spanish surrendered, freed their slaves, and fled to Cuba. The free slaves would come to be known as the Maroons and took refuge in the highlands. They cultivated the land, hunted across the region, and married with some of the remaining Arawaks. The Spanish never recaptured Jamaica, and England took formal possession of the island in 1670. The English needed slaves to cultivate sugar, indigo, and cacao, so they brought more African slaves to the island. Jamaica ended up becoming one of the busiest slave markets in the world. In the 18th century, Jamaica's sugar production reached its peak before it was rivaled by coffee production. 300,000 slaves were living in Jamaica under terrible conditions. Between 1780 and 1787, an estimated 15,000 slaves starved to death. Slave revolts occurred frequently, and some of the enslaved ran away to join the Maroons. The British also destroyed many Maroon settlements, which eventually led to what is known as the Maroon Wars. 600 Maroons were even deported to Nova Scotia by the British. In 1807, the transatlantic slave trade was abolished, and by 1838, slaves in the colonies were freed. Many former slaves moved off the plantations. Some governors brought thousands of plantation workers from India, hoping to reduce their costs and avoid paying the former slaves high wages. But the plantation system collapsed, leading to widespread poverty and unemployment. In 1866, the British Parliament declared Jamaica a crown colony, and everything from the police force to the schooling system was reorganized. A lucrative banana trade was established. In the 1930s, in the wake of the Great Depression, Jamaica was hit hard. A worldwide economic collapse ruined the banana trade and brought about mass unemployment and poverty. There was widespread violence and protest. Labor unions were formed, and Jamaicans demanded independence. By 1962, after more than 300 years of British rule, Jamaica gained full dominion or independence under the Commonwealth. The country set its own constitution, which was to retain the British monarch as its head of state. In 2021, the Jamaican government announced that they would ask Britain for compensation for forcibly transporting hundreds of thousands of Africans to work on plantations that paid its fortunes to British slave owners. In March 2022, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced Jamaica's intention to be a republic, fully independent from the crown.
All right, I was rushed right there. So this is the conflict between Jamaica and the British, right? Jamaica and the British. Let's see something real quick. Let's get this next video.
Canada's first inhabitants, a heritage that dates back thousands of years. The Métis and Inuit people are the essence of this land. Hunting, fishing, nomadic life and cultures established in harmony with nature, the ancient peoples of the North. Canada's indigenous tribes have lived in harmony with nature for thousands of years. One of the largest, the Cree, the people of the forests and plains, known for hunting, shamanism, and rich oral traditions. The Haida people are the sea people of the West Coast. They inspired the world with their totem art. A legend is hidden in every wood carving. The Mohawks are the warrior people of the Iroquois Confederacy. They are known for their honor, courage, and community solidarity. And then the Europeans came. They brought with them trade and deadly diseases. The people of this land were vulnerable to these new diseases. Epidemics spread and lives began to be snuffed out one by one. Wars in Europe followed their wake. Colonizers occupied the lands inhabited by indigenous peoples, either by force or by unfair treaties. Children were targeted next. They were separated from their families, forbidden to speak their own language, and alienated from their culture. Canada's first inhabitants.
All right, so you see how the Europeans conquered Canada. They use the same tactics they do everywhere. They come to your land, they spread their disease, they spread their strategies and trying to make treaties with you and trying to establish peace, but then they kill and rape a lot of people, enslave them. This is what they do. This is who they are. Let's get this real quick in the book of Psalms. Chapter 55 and verse 21. Right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words was His word was softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So he come with smooth words. Oh, I'm here to establish peace. I'm here to help you build your better community in land or something, right? But they come with their own strategies of taking over your land, spreading that disease and killing you, making you weak. Then what? Take over your land, take over your resources, rape, rob, and enslave your people. This is what they do. This is how they always been. This is why it says that from their youth, from the time they was born, from the time they are first established, it's like here. I don't think I shared my screen. Psalms 55:1. It said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were smoother than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So this is how they establish their dominion. They come with peace treaties, but in back of their head, they are planning to take over your land. They're planning how to kill you. They're planning how to rise up against you. They already know how to do it. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing this for a while. Ever since they conquered Greece, conquered Rome, and conquered Spain, conquered France, conquered Europe, Britain. They've been doing this for a very long time. Conquered Australia, conquered Africa, conquered America, conquered Canada, try to spread the same old thing to Jamaica and Haiti. This is what they do, and this is what they've been doing. This is who they are. But then they pretend to be these nice people. They pretend to be this peace people, these Christians, these Jewish people, this God love everybody people. This is who they are. These are the devils. They are in disguise. They got a mask on their face, but deep inside that mask, it's nothing but hatred, lies, wickedness, craftiness, envy, murderer, rape, rob, killing. This is what they do, and they love it. This is how they establish their dominion over this whole world. This is why they hide themselves and don't want nobody to know who they are, according to the Bible. But the Bible is exposing them. The Bible tells you that these are the wicked of the world, that the wicked that runs the world is the so-called Europeans, Esau, Idumeans, Edom. This is who they are, man. Let's go to this. Let's get this book real quick. This is why the Most High hates them. Right? Let's bring this out. It says, this is the same book we read earlier from who is Esau, Edom, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, who is Esau, Edom? It says, highlighted part, it says, there is not one favorable or positive statement in the Bible in relation to Esau, Edom. But how does this adverse relationship with God has towards Esau, Edom, help us to identify who this character is in the world today? To help us answer this, we have to put ourselves in the role which Esau have been assigned in God's strip. If God hated you and your ancestors, how would you react and what would you do? By nature, reaction, you would be against God and his people. This is why they have been enslaving the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, right? The Israelites, right? It says, and try to prevent them from finding out you are Esau. See, that's why they changed their name to what? Caucasians. That's why they changed their name to Americans, Europeans, Spaniards, French. This is why they changed their name from being called Edom or Edomites or Idumeans or the children of Esau, they change it so we don't know who they are. They're trying to hide themselves. They're trying to hide themselves as the Jews today, man, calling themselves Israelis, calling themselves Jewish. It says the one God is against, knowing that if God is against something, so will his followers. Because they know if they continue to call themselves Esau, the whole world will know who they are. And the whole world will be against them. It said, who is it that tries to conceal their identity as Edom? The one hated by God by claiming to be Israel. They claim to be the real Jews. The one loved by God. Only one group of people reacts as though God has a hatred for them. That is the Jews. Why do you suppose the Jews organizations such the Jews form organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League to monitor and combat hate and to identify hate groups? Would not Esau want to do this? Why is it that it is predominantly Jews who promote the word anti-hate laws and other hate crimes legislation? Sorry. It said, if you were Esau Edom, would you not do the same? An Edomite will also want to affiliate churches. So he said even Esau will want to affiliate churches. I mean, what? They want to put their people inside the churches to make sure that they are teaching God loves everybody. Make sure we promote God loves everybody. So when we see the word hate in the Bible, we think that it's something else. When you see the word God hates Esau, I mean, we see that God hates Esau. We could say, oh, God loved Esau lesser than he loved Jacob. Or this word hate means something else. Or he hate the sins of Esau. No, the Most High hates Esau. He hates him with a passion. He have a hatred, indignation against them forever. Not just Esau, the father, but this people. Right? Now let's go to the book of 2 Thessalonians. Slide this. Let's go to the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. Right? Because Esau, he tried to hide himself. But the Most High is waking up his people. And now we are what? Exposing who Esau is. We are exposing the man of sin, the son of perdition. Right? This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there shall be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So Christ will not return unless the whole world know who Esau is. And he's doing it today. He's waking up his people, telling his people who the real wicked, vile person on earth is. The so-called white man. He's the son of perdition. He's Esau. We must expose him as much as possible. Let the whole world know that this is the wicked of the whole earth, the son of the devil, the son of Satan, his dominion, his children. It said, who expose and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. We just read that in the book, who's Esau Edom, that he pretends to be the Jews. He pretends to be the children of Israel, right? He pretends to be God's chosen people because that's how he tried to hide himself. So he basically set himself up as God. He take away the true image of God, like the black iconic images, and he set up white images, right? He set up white images. Watch this. Let's get these pictures. Let's see if I can find them. Let me see if I can find these pictures real quick. Take one for right now. Look what Esau does. Who is this guy? Who is this guy that is set up to be as Christ right now? This is not the true image of Christ. It says in the book of Revelation that Christ will have white woolly hair, right? Hold on, I'm trying to find this other image. It said Christ will have white woolly hair, eyes red as wine, feet as bronze, as is burned in the furnace. So who is this man right here? This pale-skinned man that have no melanin, right? Who is this guy? This is who Esau set up to be who? This is as God, right? Look at this right here. I found it. This is what he do. He repaint the true images. This is called iconoclasm. When they destroyed the original religious images that was once black, and they repainted white. See this image right here? This is the same image we just saw. The image that's in the background of Christ is the same image we just saw right here. It's just been repainted. Same exact image. Been repainted. Who does this? Esau. Why do you do that? To hide who he is. To make the whole world believe that he is the chosen man. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, and verse 48. This is what they do, and this is what they've been doing. 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, and verse 48. It says, and lay open the book of the law, wherein the heathens had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So this is what they do. They open up our books. They see the black images of Christ, the disciples of Moses, the prophets, the Israelites, and they repainted them white. So they can pretend that they are the chosen people. So they can pretend that God is a white man that look like them. So they can act like the things that they're doing, it's okay. That the Most High is that God is in agreement with them. This is what they do, and this is what they've been doing. Right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. Chapter 13 and verse 15. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. It said he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So Esau, the so-called white man, the devil gave him power to what? To give life to the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So this man is given power to give life to the image of the beast. Who the image of the beast? Esau. This is the image of the beast. This is who Christ, sorry, not Christ, Esau, the devil, was given life to make this beast speak in what? Movies? Churches? Read again, Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he has power to give life unto the image of the beast. That the beast, that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. And he spread this image that I'm showing you right now throughout the whole world. During the Renaissance period, it was conquering lands, spreading this wicked false image of Jesus Christ, right? Which is his real name, not Jesus Christ. His real name is Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, right? The Messiah. And he was a black man, but the so-called white man spread this false image, killed a lot of people that did not believe in his image, set himself up as God on earth, as the Messiah, as a chosen people, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. This is the Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I'm almost finished. It says, I know thou works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So, sorry, what race of people are saying that they are the synagogue of Satan? Sorry, what race of people are saying that they are the Jews right now? These white people claiming to be you, the real chosen people, the Israelites, the Blacks, Hispanic Americans, these people claiming to be Jews. They set themselves up as God. They set themselves up as chosen people. They took your land. They took your culture. They twisted it all up with the Talmud. Right? Now they acting like they're the chosen people. But the Bible said that these people are the synagogue of Satan. Satan little dominions. They worship Satan. This is who they are. This is who they will ever for be until the Most High destroy this race of people. Right? Look at this. This is who the people that's the Most High just said, that Yahushua just said, are the synagogue of Satan. The fake Jews. Right? Who gave them this power to do this stuff? Satan. Satan gave these people power to deceive the whole world. These people, they worship Satan in their synagogues and in their homes. They know they're not the real chosen people. They Khazars that goes back to the Caucasoids. That goes back to the Roman Empire. That goes back to the Greeks. That goes back to the Edomites. Let's go back to the father Esau, the Idumeans. They have to be exposed, man. Their works are nothing but devil, the devilish. Their works is of Satan. Right? Let's go to the book. Let's go back to the book of 2 Thessalonians. Right? Let's go back to the book of 2 Thessalonians. Chapter 2, and I start at verse 9. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. Right? It says, even him who's coming, matter of fact, let's just start back up where we was left off at. It says, verse 4, I'll go back to, let's jump to verse 4. It said, who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not. It said, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. So we are now revealing who this devil is that pretending to be God in our time. This is his time to be exposed. Right? His wickedness is being shown now. It says, for the mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed. Who's the wicked? Esau. Esau is the wicked. We just read that in the book of Malachi, chapter 1. That Esau is the border of wickedness. Who runs the world? The wicked. Romans, we read that in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So the Most High is going to destroy these people. Right? It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonder. Right? Because everything that Esau do and does is of the working of Satan. How he conquered lands, how he strategized to kill his people and spread his disease and smallpox, how he steal their resources, take over their heritage, rape, rob, and enslave the indigenous people of the land. It said, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And he deceived the whole world. For this cause, God shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie, believing that this so-called wicked white man that we just saw are the chosen people, and this is the God. This is who the Christians bow down to, and in their Sunday church. This is who they follow. This false God and his false religion that God loves everybody. Right? This is what they do, and this is how they always been. Since the time that Satan gave him this power. How Satan gave him this power? These are people that worship Satan, worship the devil. Just like how he got Cain to worship him, they followed the same tactics, right? Let's go to the book of Genesis real quick. This is Genesis. Let's see how Cain got his power, because these are nothing but the son of the devil. It says, Genesis chapter 4, verse 7. If thou doest well, let's start up. Genesis chapter 4 verse 1. It said, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man of the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. So Cain already knew the Most High commandments, but what he did, he chose to what? Rebel. Because why? He was a man of sin from his youth up. It said, in Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So Cain was mad because the Most High didn't like his offering. And Cain knew that his offering was not what the Most High commanded. Most High commanded the flesh of an animal, but this man brought vegetation. It said, and the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, thou shalt not, it says, shall thou not be accepted? Saying if you do well, you're going to be accepted. But if thou does not well, sin lie at the door, and unto thee shall his desire. And to thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So he gave Cain a option. If you do as well, you shall be accepted. But if not, sin is going to have dominion over you. Who have dominion over sin? Satan himself. Let's see what Cain chose. And Cain talked with his brother, talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against against Abel, his brother, and slew him. So Cain was a murderer, killed his brother off of envy and jealousy. So Cain chose death. He chose sin. He chose to have Satan rule over him. You remember what Satan said to Yahweh in the wilderness in Matthew, the 4th chapter? He said, let's get that real quick. Matthew chapter 4, and I believe verse 8. It says, and again, the devil taking him up into a exceeding high mountain and showed him all the kingdom of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things what I give thee, as thou wilt fall down and worship me. So Satan, he has dominion over this world. And he give all that dominion to who worship him. And who worship him? Cain. Who is Cain? Esau. Who is Esau? The Idumeans. Who's Idumeans? Rome. Who is Rome? Europeans, Caucasians. These are these people that worship Satan. Right? They bow down and worship Satan. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 109 and verse 6. It says, Psalms chapter 109, verse 6, it said, set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. So who stand at the right hand of Esau? Satan. Satan is controlling Esau, giving him his power on earth. These are the children of the devil. These are Satan dominions, his children. And this is why these people have to be destroyed. They have to be destroyed. These people worship Satan, man. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. Right? It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. This beast right here is the Roman Empire. This is the beast, the white people, right? It said, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet was like as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power, gave him his power. Who's the dragon? The devil. He's the dragon, and he gave this beast power and his seat and great authority. So this beast will rise up, and he will have the same type of characteristics of all the 3 beasts that came before him: the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Greeks. And who would give him his power? The dragon, which is who? Satan. Read it on. It said, and I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. This during the time of the Renaissance, when Esau was first put to death, you could say, when the so-called black came into power and took over the Roman Empire in 1993 under Septimius Severus, the first black Roman emperor, Slakia, right? And that's the fall of that was the fall of Esau. That's how he got pushed into the Caucasus Mountains. And this is where he get the name Caucasus from, Caucasoids, right? But they came back in power in 1452 under the Renaissance, and established back their dominion. And this is when his deadly wound was healed. They established back their power. It said, and they worshiped the dragon. And how he gave him that power? And who gave him that power? The dragon. This is who they worship. It said, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. This is how they established their dominion during the Renaissance period. Satan gave them that power, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? Right? When they came back through the Renaissance, they set their dominion, and they conquered lands. They still conquering lands now. And how they doing it? Under the authority and power of the beast, of the dragon, which is Satan himself. So this is how he's ruling. Esau is ruling because they are the sons of the wicked. They are the sons of the devil. Satan himself is sitting at his right hand. Right? This is why they must be destroyed. This is why they must be destroyed from the face of the earth. It's like it. Right? Let's go to the book of Romans. So the Most High, he got all this stuff in plan. Right? He got all this stuff worked out already. He already know what's going on. He letting Esau, feel like he got some dominion on earth. He let Esau do what he want to do for right now. He building them up, building that pride up. Just he gonna cut it off short, right? This is the book of Romans chapter 9, verse 17. And for the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this purpose has I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. So just like how the Egyptians was once the ruling nation, they conquered. They was the most powerful nation at once. But then the Most High shut them off and made them the base nation. This Most High is doing the same thing with the Idumeans. He doing the same thing with Esau. He raising them up to be this biggest power on earth, and he's going to cut them off forever. It says, verse 18, therefore have mercy therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hinder it. Right? It says, thou wilt say then unto me, why do he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against God? So why are you asking God what his will? Why he doing this? Shall the thing formed say unto him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Has not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel to dishonor? Sorry, unto dishonor. So Mosai, he made a vessel unto honor. That's the Israelites, the son of Jacob, right? And he made another vessel to dishonor, right? These are the Edomites, the son of Esau. It says, what if God, willing to show his wrath, to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessel of wrath fitted to destruction? So the Most High got a vessel of wrath fitted to destruction. These people that is made to dishonor, the Most High going to destroy. These are these people that is made to be wicked and made for the Most High destruction, made for his wrath, right? This is the book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So the Most High, he created the wicked for his indignation. He created the wicked for his wrath. He created the wicked to show his power. This is why Esau was created in the first place. He was created to be the wicked. He was created to be the wicked of the earth, so the Most High can put him down. So the Most High can establish his name back on earth, and everybody give the Most High his glory. Right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11. Slakia. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 23. It says, the desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. So the wicked of this earth, they only going to be, their expectation is nothing but wrath, destruction, being destroyed. Yes, you can see Esau didn't get his judgment yet. So who's going to do the judgment of Esau? He's not using any other nation outside of him and the Israelites to what? For the wrath of Esau. He's not using that. He's going to do it himself. He's going to wipe these people off himself. Mostly by the hands of the Israelites. But I say 60% of Christ's going to come back and kill these people. Christ's going to come back and wipe these people from the face of the earth. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39. Sirach chapter 39, verse 29. It says, fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, right? Fire, hell, famine, death, these things were created for vengeance. Teeth of the beast and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. So the Most High, he got things that was created for the wicked. I'm going to read up to verse 28. It's like here. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore stroke. In the times of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So Most High got evil spirits or spirits that are created for destruction. It says fire, hell, and famine, death. All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. The Most High got these spirits that's going to be punishing the wicked for their destruction, man. Right? So the Most High got these things in plan already. Right? Let's get a few more. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 94, and verse 1. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 1. It says, O Lord God, to whom vengeance belong. O God, to whom vengeance belong. Show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render every ward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? So this is David. He's asking, how long are the wicked going to continue to spread their wickedness, their dominion on earth? How long they can continue to rule? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? How long are they going to continue to boast themselves in their lies, their false religion, their Christianity, their white Jesus, the Jewish people? How long are they going to continue to be the people they're not? How long are they going to continue to spread their religion, their democracy on earth? Their wars, causing wars and killing people. How long are they going to keep doing this? It said they break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thy heritage. They slay the widow and the strangers and murder the fatherless. How long are they going to keep on spreading their hatred, their evil upon earth, man? Yet they say the Lord shall not see, neither shall God of Jacob regard it. So they think they could get away with it. They think the Most High is not going to judge them. They've been doing it for so long that they think the Most High is not going to judge them. Let's get this real quick. Psalms, I believe, is what? 55, verse 21. No, it's not Psalms. It was his Psalms. Let's see. What scripture is that? Let me find it real quick. Give me 1 second. Psalms 50 and 21. It's like here. Psalm chapter 50 and verse 21. It said, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Though it says, though daughters that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thy eyes. See, they thought that they can promote all this wickedness on earth, and they think the Most High is on their side. They really think Christ is white. They really think that the so-called Israelis are the real Jews that the Bible speaks about. They think what they're doing is what God tells is had plans for them to do all from the beginning, whatever the case may be. They think this is all God's plans. That God, the Most High, is on their side. But they got a rude awakening because they thought that the Most High was on their side. But the Most High said that he's going to raise up his people and set them in order and reprove them. Reprove this wicked of the world. And set up the true Israelites before their face, before their eyes. They thought that they're the chosen, right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since a man will place upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short. So David asks, how long is going to take place? How long they going to keep killing people? How long they going to keep spreading their disease? How long they going to keep promoting wickedness? How long they going to keep doing this? Answer right here, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever. He said, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? They go like, where are these people that was promoting same-sex marriages? Where is these people that took over landmass without even first talking to the indigenous people first? Where are the people that spread their disease, their smallpox, their influenza, their killing methods, their weapons of war? Where are these people that was spreading so much hate and wickedness upon the earth? Where are they now? It says, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. So the Most High are going to kill these people. These people is not going to be in remember no more when Christ returns, when Christ set his dominion and done away with the wicked. It says, the eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place anymore behold him. Right? Neither his place anymore shall behold him. The Most High is going to make these people go away and perish forever. They're going to have no more dwelling place to be dwelling at on earth no more. They're going to have no more time to spread their wickedness on earth no more. You think that the people that you see right now, the so-called Europeans, just look at them. Take a strong, long look at them. Because you ain't going to see them no more once Christ's done with them. These people are going to be put away and perish and gone forever. Like a dream. You're not going to remember them no more. You're like, yo, who was these people again? You said the Edomites, who are they? Everything is against them. Nature itself is against them. Right? Two more scriptures. Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 1. It says, who is this that come from Edom with thy garment from Bozrah? So this is Isaiah speaking when he's seeing Christ coming in his dominion and rulership and his wrath and his vengeance. It says, who is this that come from Edom with thy garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Christ says, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. It says, wherefore thou art red in thy apparel. It's like, why are you red? Why is your clothes red? And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. Like you've been stepping on grapes, my brother. It said, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. Christ said, I did this. I tread the winepress alone, and with me, there was nobody with me. It said, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment. This is why my garment, you see, is red, and I will stain all my raiment. This is why Christ was like, yeah, this is why Christ is saying, this is why you see my garment is red. Like I've been stumping on wine fat. Like I've been trotting down in the wine press. He said, it is the blood of the wicked that you see. It says, for the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeem is come. It says, and I looked, and there was none to help. And I wonder that there was none to uphold. It was nobody to help me with it. And it was nobody to hold me back. For there, it says, therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me. In my fury, it helped me. It says, and I tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury. And I will bring down their strength to the earth. So Christ said, look, I did this alone. It was nobody to hold me back. I did this in my anger. I did this to save my people for the mighty day of salvation. I tread these people. I killed them. Their blood is in my garment. This is why my garment is looking red. I did this. Right? Last one. Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1. This is Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1. It says, come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Right? So the Most High, he has an indignation for all these people that came against his people. All these nations. It said, for his fury is upon their armies, and he have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Right? It says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a straw, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. This is when war is happening, when nations are rising against nations, kingdom against kingdoms, World War III. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Who's Idumea? The nation of Esau, the Roman Empire, the Caucasians, the so-called white people, the Europeans. This is who Idumea is. Read it again. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the people of Idumea is the people of the Most High curse. They're going to get the judgment. They have the judgment that's waiting. It says the sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and it is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. And the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra. Where is Basra? Basra is in the land of Edom. And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Right? So the Most High has indignation with these wicked people calling themselves Caucasians, calling themselves Europeans. These people are Idumeans, the wicked of the earth, that the Most High have a hatred, indignation against, that he's going to kill and stump and kill them. He's going to kill and he's going to kill them himself, man. Christ is going to come back in the fury of the Most High and destroy these so-called wicked of the world. And with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is Azariah for Ministers of Faith. Shalom.